Hi friends, welcome to Indian Polity Current Affairs by Ekam IAS. In the recent news, there was a case in the Supreme Court regarding the reservation system. We know the reservation is a hot topic in debates since it got established. So in this video, we are going to discuss the case as well as the clarification given out by the Supreme Court. So let's move on to the video. First, let's look at the case. It was between Saurav Yadav and the state of Uttar Pradesh. The case was dealing with the reservation issues in filling the post of constables in Uttar Pradesh. And the Supreme Court gave clarification on the position of law on the interplay of horizontal and vertical reservations. Before moving into the details of the case, let's find what is horizontal and vertical reservation. The reservation for the scheduled tribe ST, scheduled caste SC and other backward classes OBC, they are referred to the vertical categories, and it applies separately for each categories which are specified under the law. The horizontal reservations are for providing equal opportunity for other beneficiaries like women, people with disability, the transgender community, as well as ex-military people, etc. We can explain the same with the help of a diagram. In the figure, we can see the vertical categories, which are the SC, ST and the OBC. Also, we can see the horizontal categories are applied separately in each vertical category. The horizontal categories here are the women, the transgender community, the people with disability and the ex-military. Those categories are applied separately for each vertical category. Let's consider the women is having 50% of horizontal quota. In such a situation, half of the candidates selected should have to be women. So it is applicable in all the vertical categories also, which means half of the SC candidates has to be women, half of the ST candidates has to be women, half of the OBC candidates also has to be women. One more thing is 50% of the unreserved categories or the general category should also has to be women, because the women is a horizontal quota. When we try to interlock these categories, which means the vertical and the horizontal quota together, then certain issues will arise. Suppose if there is a female candidate and she belongs to SC category, so whether she has to be kept in the SC category or whether she also has to be considered in the general female category also. What was the issue in the Saurav Yadav case? Sonam Toma and Rita Rani were two candidates in the post of constable in Uttar Pradesh, and they had scored 276.59 and 233.19 marks respectively. Sonam Toma has applied under the category of OBC female and Rita Rani has applied in SC female categories. We know the SC and the OBC are vertical categories and the female is a horizontal quota. Both of the candidates didn't qualify in their respective categories, which means the Sonam Toma didn't qualify in OBC female category and Rita Rani didn't qualify in SC female category. But the problem was, in the general female category, the cutoff mark was 274. And we know Sonam Toma has 276 marks. But Sonam Toma was thrown out of the list as she didn't qualify in her category. So the question before the court was whether Sonam has to be considered under general female category since she had scored better marks than the cutoff in the general female category. What was the argument of UP government in this case? The government's policy was to restrict and contain the reserved candidates in their respective categories, even if they score a better grade in the general category. And what was the decision of Supreme Court? The Supreme Court ruled against the Uttar Pradesh government. The Supreme Court ruled that if a candidate who is belonging to the intersection of vertical horizontal quota, he or she who didn't qualify in his respective category, but if the candidate is having a higher marks which is enough to qualify in the general quota, he or she has to be considered in the general quota, and the candidate cannot be excluded from the horizontal quota in the unreserved category. This was the ruling by the Supreme Court. In the case of Sonam Toma, she had secured a marks which is higher than the general female cutoff. So, according to the Supreme Court, she has to be considered qualified under the general female category, even if she has applied for SC female category. What was the Supreme Court's reasoning in this case? The Supreme Court did the math. They examined a number of hypothetical situations and they came to a conclusion that if the government is restricting and containing the candidates to their particular categories only, the candidates like Sonam Toma who had secured higher marks will get knocked off. So the Supreme Court's observation was, if such a policy is being practiced, the final list will be having candidates with lower scores. So if a candidate is allowed to drop one of her category, the final list will be having candidates with higher marks, or which we can say that it is a meritorious list. The decision of the Supreme Court struck at the heart of the debate on merit versus reservation, because we know the reservation is sometimes considered as anti-merit. Okay, thank you.